Once Buddha gathered his disciples in a beautiful garden surrounded by lush greenery and towering mountains. The air was filled with a quiet excitement, as if everyone and everything around was holding its breath. The disciples sat around Buddha, each one feeling a mix of peace and eager anticipation. They knew that when Buddha spoke, his words were not just ordinary words. Each teaching he gave was like a key to a hidden door, leading to deep wisdom and understanding. There was a special feeling in these moments, a sense of being part of something truly important. Seeing his disciples completely engrossed in the moment, the Buddha asked a question that seemed simple yet intriguing. He asked, "Imagine if you were struck by an arrow. Would that not cause you great pain and distress?" The disciples nodded, each one picturing the sharp, intense pain that an arrow would cause if it pierced their skin. They could almost feel the imagined sting and the immediate discomfort that would follow. His question made them think deeply about suffering and pain, something everyone tries to avoid but often encounters in life. The Buddha continued, "Now, imagine if a second arrow hits you in the exact same spot. Wouldn't the pain be much worse?" The disciples looked at each other, understanding the point he was making. The thought of a second arrow made them wince. They nodded again, understanding that the second strike would make the pain even worse. The Buddha saw the recognition in their eyes and took the moment to reveal the deeper teaching behind this imagined story. He explained that in life, the first arrow is similar to the various challenges and sorrows that life brings. These are unavoidable. Old age, sickness, loss, and death are part of the natural cycle of existence. Like the first arrow, these sufferings and pains are often beyond our control. However, the second arrow is different. This arrow represents our reaction to the pain and challenges. When we react with anger, resentment, or self-pity, we are essentially worsening our situation, as if striking ourselves with the second arrow. Unlike the first, this arrow is within our control. The Buddha emphasized that when faced with the first arrow, if we react with understanding, acceptance, and mindfulness, we can avoid the second arrow and its additional pain. As the disciples listened intently, the Buddha imparted the practice of mindfulness and awareness. He taught them to observe their thoughts and emotions as they arise, like leaves floating down a river, without clinging to them. By doing so, they could maintain a state of tranquility and peace, even in the face of life's first arrow. The disciples understood that the teaching of the two arrows was not just about enduring pain, but about transforming their relationship with suffering. It was a lesson in resilience, emotional intelligence, and the power of the mind. Through this profound lesson, the Buddha showed his disciples that while they cannot avoid the first arrow, they have the power to prevent the second. The true challenge lies not in the external events of life, but in mastering one's internal reactions to them. It's like when something bad happens, it's natural to feel hurt or upset, just like when the first arrow hits. But what we do next, how we react, that's the second arrow, and that's in our hands. By practicing mindfulness and being aware of our emotions, we can learn to recognize this second arrow. Mindfulness is like a shield. It helps us see our thoughts and feelings without getting overwhelmed by them. When we're mindful, we notice our reactions without letting them control us. We might feel angry or sad, but we don't have to let those feelings make everything worse. For example, if we make a mistake at work, we might feel embarrassed or frustrated. That's the first arrow. But if we then start thinking things like, "I'm always messing up," or "I'm not good at my job," that's shooting ourselves with the second arrow. Instead, we can acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move on without being too hard on ourselves. Emotional awareness is also key. It's about understanding what we're feeling and why. When we know what's going on inside us, we can handle our emotions better. It's like being the captain of a ship in a storm. If we panic, the ship might get lost at sea, but if we stay calm and focused, we can steer the ship safely through the rough waters. By avoiding the second arrow, we can maintain a sense of calm and positivity, even when life is tough. It's not about ignoring our pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about not adding extra suffering on top of what's already there. It's a way of telling ourselves, yes, this hurts, but I can get through it without hurting myself more. This story teaches us that while life will always have its challenges, our strength lies in how we respond to them. With mindfulness and emotional awareness, we can face life's arrows with grace and resilience, keeping our inner peace intact.